So, hello everybody. Welcome to today's Thursday Live. I am Denise Armenio. I have Claire McIntyre with me here today helping, and she is also not only going to help out in the chat, but is also going to be a volunteer for me today while I work on demonstrating and working with functional zones. We thought it would be a great idea to work with Claire as she has MS, and there's a lot of different ways that we can work with it, and thought that it would be a great way to demonstrate how to take a deeper dive in some other um, issues. So, as everybody knows or doesn't know, if you're tuning in for the first time, I like to basically work with symptoms. So just because sometimes someone may be given a diagnosis, that's not really what me personally like to focus on. Everybody can works differently, and all those ways are fine. Me personally, I like to work with symptoms and not put anything under a certain category or box, just because anything can cause anything. And if we isolate it to a specific label or name, we may overlook things that could be really important to help um, relieve or support the symptoms. So, with that said, um, I am just going to start sharing this screen. And Claire, if are you unmiked?
I think I'm already in there.
You are. I can hear you. And you are in here, so I'm just going to grab you really quick.
Right,
Whoops.
okay.
Okay, so why don't you take it away? I'll count you down. You know what to do. Claire is going to repeat her full name and then repeat the vowels A, E, I, O, U until the 15-second counter gets to 0. So are you 3, 2, 1, begin.
Claire McIntyre. A-E-I-O-U. Claire McIntyre. My body functions perfectly. Every cell vibrates with health, vitality, and light.
That was amazing. You did that so well. I always stumble when I go to.
It fits.
It does. That was awesome. Thank you so much. So now I'm going to just play back the voice harmonics so you can get a little bit of the healing frequencies from your own voice. Okay, and the voice harmonics, everybody who is not familiar with it, is how the genius translates Claire's recording of what she just recorded to frequencies, and it works like a homeopathic in the same way homeopathics like cancels out like. The same way here, the frequencies like cancels out like, and it has a healing effect on her. I don't know what that healing effect might be because we don't know what those frequencies are exactly, but it is beneficial, and do recommend that people use that function before they start every session. So now I'm just going to hit next. And Claire, I'm going to take a little screenshot here, please. And so here we just hit continue. And we have a photo from the last time, but we're going to use a new picture from today. And there we are. And so I'm just going to click use up top. And these, the move and scale down on the bottom, there is no function to them. So if you should roll your finger or your cursor over it, it's just there. Anyway, I'm going to select use. And now we can hit begin analysis. And continue. So the energetic affirmation is a way that the genius takes an affirmation that we add by typing it out. I always like to use it. And how it works is that it takes the frequency of that affirmation and overlays it. So whenever you're running these scans, whether it's in the main hold tray, the quick balance, or the quick zap up top, it will overlay the frequency to that affirmation. So it's just a little added bonus that you get. Do you want to use the one that I always use, Claire?
Yes, I've noticed on mine that the auto spell has stopped working because I had it trained. So I need to copy and paste so like elsewhere. But yeah,
Oh,
go.
I haven't noticed that. So the what I like to add in there is all energies are trans. Whoops, muted.
Emojis.
Oh, yeah, sorry, I'm trying to type fast. All energies are transmuted into the frequency of pure love. And then I just like to add N so it is afterwards. Okay, and if you wanted to add anything else, you could, or any other affirmations. You don't have to use the one that I'm using. That's just the one I'm partial to. So now we can just click OK, and it is added in. I am going to just go, these top 3 lines on the top right are the navigation bars. Also, sometimes you'll hear us refer to us by saying go to your back office. You do that by clicking on these bars. I'm going there right now just to go to my libraries and make sure that I have all my libraries selected and that I can use them. Okay, that's not a good sign. So give me 1 second because we are having technical issues here. Okay, so guys, I'm just gonna tell you this has happened to me before, so this is gonna be something that we need to report. I don't know if it's just me, and I don't know if it's just with the MacBook Air, but let me just see if I can find my application.
What happened there, Denise? Sorry.
The icon, it like just completely went away and it's not even in the, so I have to restart. And once it starts, then I can share the screen again. Okay, so this is a perfect opportunity to test out the load current client results. We're going to cross our fingers that it's going to work because sometimes when this particular thing has happened, it hasn't worked, but maybe it will. Okay, it's not working. So I'm just going to click continue with new results. You will need to do the voice recording again. Apologies, everybody. You ready, Claire?
Yeah.
I'll count you down. 3, 2, 1, begin.
AEIOU, Claire McIntyre. My body functions perfectly. Every cell vibrates with health, vitality, and light. AEIOU.
I'm so impressed by that. Okay, I'm not going to play the voice harmonics again because we just did it. I'm just going to go next. The picture hopefully should be there, otherwise get that. You can hit continue. There is a picture, so it's really strange that it didn't load the results because it has the current picture. I don't know what happened, but so let's hit begin analysis here. We can continue. So, I'm going to hope that the libraries are all there. I also just wanted to take a moment to go to frequency, shape, and form. And I know often people ask, like, what do I use when I'm in here? So I'm going to explain it as best I can. I always put mine on active archetype encoding. And the reason why I put it there is because most, not all, but most of the libraries I use, the libraries have been entered in like in language. When you would use sonic signature when you're entering things like creating libraries, or if libraries have been created in the frequency mode. And I know that may be hard to explain, so I'm just going to back out of here for a second so I can show you a little bit. If I go into libraries and I click on the plus, and I'm just going to pretend to create a library here for a second. I'm just going to write testing. Whoops. And I'll hit save. So now when I want to add an item, let's say I um energy flow in my body is functioning at 100%. Whoops. Okay, so I would not click on frequency input here because I'm not putting in a hertz frequency. So I would click on archetype encoding. Okay, so now that line, the Genius has added this line item, and it generated an archetype encoding. Now, if I wanted to add in another line and say 528 hertz, I can put in, so you go into frequency input, and then you can add the frequency or the range of the frequency that you want to use. So I could put in 528. You don't need hertz or anything, but just put in 528 and then click save. And so now it's created that line using the 528 hertz. So now let's go jump. I'm just going to hit save here for a moment. We can go back to frequency, shape, and form. So activate sonic signature would be if you're working with libraries that are more created, like that last line item I did with 528 hertz, and I put the frequency in that bottom box. Archetype encoding would be if you have more libraries that are more where you enter, the libraries are like a written out basically in form, and a specific hertz isn't put in there. If you don't know how the library is created, it's kind of hard for you to know, and I would probably use the activate archetype encoding. If anybody uses it in any other way and you want to mention it, please, it's an open mic here. You can definitely do that. I tend to always, sometimes I muscle test in here for the client. Most of the time I'll either have it on 25% or 50%. I'm going to put it on 50% today. And then the other area, I'm going to bypass this because this is just personal preferences really in here. You could put it on a specific sound that you like to hear, or you could clear it and then hit super consciousness select, and then basically the Genius selects which soundscapes you're going to listen to. But then on the bottom, there's the sine wave, square, and sawtooth wave. So I just wanted to just share. So I usually will keep it on alternating. And the reason why is because I use all different types of libraries and they may deal with all different things. So the sine wave is used to create more coherence and for normalizing physical functions. So if you're working with the heartbeat or the or your pulse or brain waves and other things in the body, you would want to use the sine wave. The square wave is when you're clearing any kind of infection. So for those of you who are using the biotrain and maybe you're working solely on the biotrain libraries, you may want to use square wave because square wave is going to be working for clearing parasites, bacteria, fungus, and viruses. It's also really good. Most Rife machines use square wave. And then sawtooth is for breaking up stagnation. So stagnation could be physical, like scars, or it could be or like fibrosis, adhesions, or it could also be like being emotionally stuck. So if you're trying to work on someone on working with emotional issues or traumas or things like that, you may want to put it on sawtooth wave. Otherwise, if you're not really sure and you're mixing in emotions and bioterrain stuff, then you may just want to keep it on alternating. But those are just that's how I choose to work with it. If you're not seeing results, maybe when you have it on alternating, then maybe if you're just working on the bioterrain and really want to hit those parasites strong, you may want to go to the square wave on that. So, and just knowing, Claire and I kind of spoke a little bit before this session, so we are probably going to be working on the two libraries for the bioterrain for her and also some of the human body structure, which is a library of mine that will help with lymphatics and in the area of her ribs. And you can speak on that in a minute, Claire, when I get back. I hope, does anybody have any questions on the sine wave or these different types of waves that they'd like to add in? I kind of lost my chat function here, guys. So
Margaret's saying that often when choosing superconscious selecting binaural beats, it defaults to addictions. And yeah, I get that
I get
too.
that too.
So I
That's
just
probably
kind of,
something that we should talk to Ryan about because I find that a lot too. Although everything is really an addiction, right? I mean, just having carbs and sugar in our diet, sugar is just such a major addiction. So
yeah.
honestly, it could be right because we're probably all addicted to it or some form of something. But anyway, I do agree that does shows up a lot. But you could change it. You could just like unclick it and um let's just see.
I would add nerve regeneration and pain management. That would be great.
Okay.
Okay.
And animal sounds, nature sounds. Anybody have a preference on what they want to hear? You
I
like
don't
bells and chimes?
I don't mind bells and chimes.
Okay. And then, playing with this, the 0 to 100%, I mean, that's just really kind of personal preference on where you want to listen to it. I don't, to my knowledge, it does not affect the effectiveness of what you're listening to. Um, what is the most binaural beats used mostly? I usually pick no more than, oh, I can't see it. Oh, you mean in here, Margaret? How many can you select in here? That's a great question. I usually have two or three.
If you look at them, they're sort of categorized almost like you've got your calming, the sleepy, and sort of the chakra support or deep sleep and relaxation, they would go together. And then you've got sort of like other things like depression and anxiety to go along with your addictions, your fatigue and everything, and they would go together. So 3 or
Yeah, I
4.
mean, and you could always go back and forth and change it. To be honest, I don't usually come back to this in the middle of a session. You could, um, and I don't think, I mean, you couldn't, it would be nice if you could select like maybe sine wave and square wave and just do those two and not do alternating, but we don't, we either have, you select one or alternating all three. Um, I don't know, I'm kind of getting square. So maybe today, Claire, will work on your bioterrain first using the square waves, and then we'll change it. I'm just going to go back out now, and although now yeah, I would always keep it on alternating because I'm
Well,
going to use priming vessel, the priming primer, and square wave doesn't. Oh, it brought me back. I guess it wants me to put alternating. Okay. Oh, and that's weird because it defaulted to.
sine wave. I tend to leave it on alternating because I believe that the device sort of selects for you. Sometimes when you're playing a number of items in one of the trays, it'll start off as one and then it'll say switch to sawtooth.
Yeah,
So,
I rarely see that though. I don't get that often show
yeah,
up. Anyway, let me start by hitting begin analysis here. And Margaret, yes, the right frequencies are Hertz frequencies. So when you see those numbers, you can put them in as the Hertz frequencies numbers in there. So I hope that answers your question. So let's quickly look at your aura before we get sidestepped here. So your number here for aura isn't so bad, 365. I mean, if you want it tighter, probably between 400 and 600, but I would say, that's given everything that's going on.
not two,
Number.
which I've seen previously.
Okay, so your aura doesn't look bad. I mean, it could be brighter. It's a little cloudy out here, and you have this little dark band in there that, we could try to work on that a little bit, but I don't know if we'll see. And then we can look at
Oh,
yeah, that's not looking so hot. Sorry, Claire. A lot of interference coming in there. You see all this dark in here. I mean, you do look like you're in your body. That's a good sign because it's all filled up with color, but mm, this darkness and this banding in here. And are you feel foggy today or anything going on? How is your,
um,
because that's kind of like a programming type thing, but it's going through
the
your mind.
heat's not great,
It's not
probably.
great today. Yeah,
No.
so that's kind of evident going on here, just because it is going right through. So, okay. So anyway, we can spend a whole hour on that alone. Um, let's just look at today's stress. So we're seeing fungus, environmental, pathogens, lymphatic, exactly what we talked about, kidneys, infection, and virus, acid, and emotional. So no surprises here. Claire, I do want you to mention, because although we spoke about it, let's talk about what you're feeling and what symptoms we'll be working on here today.
Okay, so it feels like the large intestines and the colon are sort of heavy. It's almost like a double double gravity feeling sort of in the torso area. the lymphatics. I've got some swelling around sort of my ankles, which, you know, the muscle weakness stroke atrophy sort of comes up there. And there's some tightness around the ribs, and I'm never sure whether that's to do with the liver, the diaphragm, or, you know, anything spinal. So yeah.
Okay, and just to rate it, overall, between 0 and 10, 10 being severe, do you want to just put an overall feeling on how you're feeling today, or do you want to break it down into like your ribs, your legs, whatever's going on?
Easier to put an overall, and I'd probably put a 7.
Okay. Okay. So I'm kind of going to breeze through some of this stuff in here because we still want to get to functional zone, and we had a little side tangent going into frequency, shape, and form. Um, so let's just add the blue and the red in here. I I think, did you run any scans on yourself today by any chance? I'm gonna clear this actually. I'm just gonna go right to the bioterrain for a minute and just do that for a minute for you, maybe 30 seconds. So I'm going to this library that in Bioterrain, which is the primer. If you don't have this bundle, the Bioterrain, you could add a start with adding everything from the biofield into the main hold tray, as well as vitamins, amino acids, and minerals, just to help prime the body. I've added some other things in there besides those. There's 156 or 57 items that I have in the bioterrain primer. And Margaret is saying liver point 14 is a good point in acupuncture for rib pain. So thank you, Margaret. We will look at that when we get there. Let's just get to the
Thank you.
primer. Claire, just remind me in case I forget. So now I could have just added the library title for the vessel primer, and it would have added all 156 items into the main hold tray. I just wanted to open it up so everybody could see, but I am going to add everything in here. You have that Celtic salt coming up, potassium, black seed oil. So let's just go quickly and begin analysis here. And I'm going to select all, and let's just try this for 30 seconds. Claire, I'm thinking to use the lymphatics possibly. And maybe some spinal segments for the functional zone. Just,
Okay.
I don't know. Well, that's just my feeling right now. Or maybe liver point 14. Oh, sorry, forgot, guys.
It's a long 30 seconds.
I
Yeah.
forgot I had to stop it. Okay, so you did really well, 56% rectification, and the harmony, alignment, and energy flow is like pretty good. It's a little bit over that 20%, but that's okay. So I'm going to back out of here. You did well. We can empty the main hold tray. And now I'm just going to quickly go into the system overview. I did not explain the number values on the side. I'll get to that in just a minute for those that may not know what that all means. But let's just add the top 50 and bottom 50. And just curious to see what's showing up on the bottom. Smoking, emotional. I was just curious if anything about the liver here is coming in, but I don't want to spend too much time in there. So I'm going to remove the libraries now, and then I can add again, the top 50 and the bottom 50. That's from the system overview page. Grounding is coming up there for you as one of,
There you go, David. He's asked me if I do any
oh,
group.
there, oh no, that's large intestine 4. It's not, I was thinking that was liver. 14. So let's just begin analysis here. Do 30 seconds again. So let's select all. Can you hear it? Very low.
Vaguely.
It is playing. All right. Excellent. 51%. And again, 43 to 56%. That's really close. Spread between those harmony, alignment, and energy flow. So again, that's great. I'm happy with that. Let's clear out this tray again. And so now we can go back and now we can start focusing on the areas that we really want to work on with you. I am going to go straight to the meridians and look at that large intestine point 14. Ah, and look at that, Margaret, aren't you so smart? It is one of the lowest values here. So I guess I should just add all the blues. I'm adding them all. And I'm going to say we're going to use one of those as the functional zone. Um, I'm not going to work on the other ones. We probably worked with a bunch of that in the last two frequencies that we ran. So I'm going to leave that. I'm going to go to brain EEG and just add theta in there. And that's because it puts you in more of a meditative state. And let's go to,
What's under brain anatomy, Denise?
we can add those. Medulla, hypothalamus, and then we have the amygdala, motor cortex, temporal.
Okay, cool.
We could add in the hippocampus in there, just. And Savegios, let's add 528. Again, we've worked with some of these in that first scan that we did in the vessel priming, everything that's in the biofield. I do feel like I just want to add everything in spiritual protection. Although it does look pretty good. Grounding is showing up 12 on there. And let's see your body systems.
Yeah, it's spot on, really.
Is it?
Hmm.
So, and now I'm just going to go right into the libraries because let's attack some of that bioterrain. So, hmm. And I'm gonna go to this one too, the sound, since it is showing up blue, although, we'll just go with reverse polarity. That's interesting. Well, bromine will help with inflammation a little bit, I believe.
It had gadolinium in there, didn't it?
Did it? I'm sorry, I didn't see that. Let's add your reds and blue parasites in there. And these fungus statements we're gonna add. And we'll add these nosodes in here. Okay. And biofilm, I think would be a good one to look at for you. So now let's go to the human body. Whoops. And this would be your thoracics. I'm just putting in the reds and the blues right now. There's also another section. I have to find it where I don't remember what it's called. Oh, here's lymphatics. Claire, if there's anything specific you want me to look at more closely, tell me. I just want to be able to get some of this stuff in the tray so that
You had one for fascia and
okay.
muscles,
And I'm also there's the spinal nerves.
neck and spinal muscles.
Yeah, where did that go? Oh, here.
Hey, it's nice. It's nice playing around in somebody else's libraries. It's been in a sweet shop.
Um, anything going on with your eyes? The smooth muscle of your eyes showing
Yeah,
up,
possibly.
or your veins? That would be important because that's going to bring oxygen to all those areas. So, um, I'm just trying to keep an eye on how much stuff we have in here. It was, tell me again. Oh, your ribs. So it's going to be like your trunk muscles. So let's do your, right? Would
Is
your,
there anything that comes up for liver or gallbladder?
I, we can do the bladder meridian muscles. Some of that stuff, I haven't added all the different, muscle meridians in here yet.
Did you add
Uh,
the ribs?
hold on, the superficial front line. And here's the liver muscle meridian, which is, these are the different, fascia lines. What was the other one you said?
You had one for the ribs there. I don't know. I think you may have put that all in already.
Just see. Ribs. Oh, it just, yeah. The ligaments of the rib. And you were telling me your legs, right? The lower legs. So let's just work with this for a minute because we want to get, I put liver 4 in here, right? Whoops.
L14, I think you did. Yeah.
Yeah, there it is. Okay. So let's go into now together individually. Oh my gosh, look at wow, Margaret, you hit the jackpot today. It's right on the top. Um, Good work. Thank you. Um, what else would we want to look at here for you? I want to find the lymphatic system. I don't, I might have to go back out. Hold on. Um, that would be in today's stress, the lymphatic. Yeah. Did it not add it? What just happened? Maybe it's in there already? Oh, here it is.
Okay.
Okay. So we have those two. So now we're going to click on functional zones. So I have some notes here, guys, because I can't. So we will look at some of this and I will talk you through some of it. So the functional zone is like the final step, and it provides a summary as it relates to the 7 main functional zones. So for these two items that we selected, which is liver point 14 in your liver meridian and your lymphatics, the microorganism, well, I'm going to start here on how my notes is so we could go down. So the psychogenic zone would have to do with like depressive tendency stress, shock stress, miasm stress, psychogenic stress, hormone stress, interference, scar, mercury, inherited interference, acquired interference, toxic substances. So I'm going to drag the title of that into the main hold tray, and I'm also going to oh, look at that. So we have parasite stress evaluation and virus stress evaluation. So I'm going to click on those two. Now, as we discussed last week, I'm not going to do it today. If you were to click on this line again, it would bring up entangled insights. I think that's just going to take us into a much, further down the rabbit, and it's going to take us away from, trying to focus in on the functional zone. But just be aware that you can click on these in here if you wanted to get into entangled insights and then work with the database from within there. Okay, so now I'm going to look at this. Oh, sorry guys. I read to you the psychogenic zone and I clicked on microorganism zone. So let's just go back to psychogenic zone. Okay, so depressive tendency stress evaluation and miasm stress evaluation is at 100%. Let's add those both in there. And I had already read to you what those are. Let me just go back and recap the microorganism zone. That has to do with fungus stress, yeast stress, bacteria, virus, parasite, Lyme stress, geophysical zone, atmospheric stress, geopathic charge stress, radioactivity stress. So there's a bunch of different areas, but we're only seeing two at a time. You can rescan it again, and it will come up with possibly different functional zones. So that is always an option if you want to do that. I'm not going to do that just because we're running out of time here. Just trying to see if we should let's do
Are we going to immune zone?
okay, we can do that. So that has to do with organ change stress evaluation, food allergy stress, and I'm just also going to add in that zone. So we're almost at 200 items and we are running a little bit out of time. So if anybody has any questions about what I'm doing right now for the functional zone, please, you can ask any of those questions in your chat. I'm just going to run the app here. And I'm going to put this on 1 minute and select all. Again, that liver 0.14 is showing up pretty, it's right here. If anybody can see it, so it still is kind of high.
Is that not liver 4?
Oh,
Large intestine.
maybe you're right. Large intestine. Yeah, I think you're right. Sorry. And Karen is saying, guava cleanse on the Young and Living essential oil and caps, raindrop oil massage, daily warm cool towel. So I thank you, Karen, for that suggestion for Claire.
Thank you.
Okay, great. You responded well again to that. I'm going to rescan it and so we're seeing some parasites showing up here. So let's just select all. Whoops. And run play again for 1 minute. Here, I don't think I put anything for the pain library.
We had it running overall, didn't we? From the selection in
Did
frequency.
did I go to the, I can't remember. I'll go put it in the quick stuff. Oh, Margaret's saying large intestine 4 is for pain in the entire body. Thank you, Margaret.
Thank you. Okay, I have MMS. Use.
And again, 51%, and the top numbers are nice and tight, which I like to see. So I'm going to rescan the eyes. Gonna sneeze.
Bless you.
I didn't yet. I'm fighting it. And really, I just wanted to add, when you're really looking to work with the parasites, it's always been Dr. Debbie Drake's suggestion to run a 17-minute cycle, minutes at least, to for the kill rate for the parasites. Due to this being a demo, we don't have time to do that, but hopefully they'll see some benefit there. Okay, so here we need some more time, so I'm going to click on this again. And more time because the harmony was 15% and then it goes up to 44%, so that's a wider range, and also the average percent rectification was 40. So. And there we go. That's much better at a 69% average rectification, and between 67% and 73 is really good there too. So that's awesome. Um, just any you want to check in just for a minute there, Claire, and let us know how you're feeling? Any shifts?
Hmm.
It's okay if it's a no.
You know what? It's difficult to explain because it is that overall full body sort of feeling. If anything, it's sort of like I feel calmer.
Well, that's good.
So
Maybe that's part of that programming that we were seeing in the front. I'm just gonna run the quick zap. I put in some of this. Let's just run this for 1 minute for you for the pain frequencies.
yeah, I've done box.
David, I do have fulvic. I do have some of those in the libraries. I'd have to think about which one it's in right now. Um, I know I do have like a functional mushroom library that has all the different mushrooms. Um, and I'd have to look where the fulvic stuff is in there. I have it someplace. I would hope though, if those came up and that she needed it, this is what's great about the general overview is on those cases, David, where there may be like some of those things that you're bringing up, if they're a high or a low, m- those line items would show up in the general overview. So if they didn't, it doesn't mean that it's not necessarily, it doesn't mean that it's not good to include it if we can think of it, but if it's um really stressing her out either in the present moment or if it's been chronic, hopefully we would have captured it through the general overview. I hope that makes sense. Um, and you had 40% 40% rectification, and again, that's nice and tight. Any shift in running the pain there? I could always run it again for another 30 seconds if you needed a little bit more.
Smidgen.
It only moved a smidgen. Okay, so let's just run it for 30 more seconds. Okay, that was a little bit low. I'm feeling that you may need, do you have water by you? I feel like you need water.
I do have some, yeah.
So I'm gonna run this again for another 30 seconds for you. There's also something I was thinking and I can't remember. Okay. So great. Now that's up to 56%. I hope you're feeling a little bit better with that. We can go look at what your aura looks like now, and then we'll go and um,
Oh.
Yeah, yeah, I'm not really loving this color in the center, but well, it's interesting because that programming line moved a little bit above you, so it's not quite through your head this time. The bottom, I think it looks better than the last time, but it's still this stuff in there is getting better, but not great yet. So let's go back now and I'm gonna empty the quick zap tray. Whoops, clear. And I want to add in just from the bio train, I want to add in where you see in the bio train it says finish. So I'm just going to add all those if it lets me grab it, and it's not. So I'm just going to add all of the items in here, and that's just putting back good bacteria back into your gut. And then this restoring homeostasis we could add back in there. And then, whoops, we can go to and put in these grounding. Okay, it doesn't want to go in there. Red and blue and any flower essences. Uh, and I'm just going to add in the reds and the blues on these flower essences for you. And let's just run these for 30 seconds. So I don't know if everybody is looking or is reading the chat, but Karen has some great suggestions about not using any of the bands when you're working with some things that have to do with I'm trying to be compliant here with the jab. So you may not want to, don't use the wristbands because it could not be so great. And that's also with EMF and PM, both electromagnetic frequencies as well. Okay, thank you, Karen. She's giving me the little nod here. Okay, let's stop this. And you have responded positively, so that's great. So let's just check out your aura and hope that it looks good. And if you can just check in, Claire.
Apart from that, sort of like little improvement, it was
Let this stop for oh, sorry. Well, we're working through things. Well, listen, you can't this there, you still have this line coming down, but you're definitely more grounded now. At least it looks like you're becoming more grounded because the energy where it's showing you a little bit out of your body there is moving out. So that's good. Um, we have potentially some open portals and this line is off there, but we're making some progress. The other one we would have to work on, but just to wrap it up, when we started, you said you're about a 7 out of 10. So how would you rate it now?
um probably a 6.
Okay.
Yeah.
So a little bit of a change. And what about just do your ribs feel the same? Um, just any change there? They feel the same? I can't tell.
Yeah, they feel the same, but sort of after the last session that we had, it was the following day that I felt the improvement.
Okay. So great. So next week you can give us a recap on how you felt the next day. And what about your legs? Anything different in your legs?
It's difficult to tell because I'm sat down. you know, ankles are still feeling sort of the same. So it wouldn't be until I got up and walked and stretched my legs type thing.
Well,
So
you will see some improvement, and especially tomorrow. But please continue to drink plenty of water throughout the day to stay hydrated, and you're going to be taking in those frequencies. And does anybody have any questions? We worked with frequency and shape, and we also work with the functional zones before we end today. If there was anybody that had any questions, or if I hope I didn't confuse anybody or anybody watching this. If anybody is watching this and you're not here live, if you have any questions, you can always email me at Denise at Inside Health Apps, and I would be happy to answer your questions. Karen, you're saying her leg meridians. To look at those. Oh, because I didn't run those, right? That's what you're telling me? Okay, um, I'm going to empty the quick zap, because Claire, if you want me to send you the other frequencies to your Quanta capsule, I can. So that's why I'm going to add all of these to the. So we'll just give you 1 minute here.
SP9 for edema. Thank you, Margaret.
And also liver 3 and spleen 6 and kidney 3 for the ankles. And governing and conception vessels too. I think I got those in here, didn't I?
Yeah, if you did
Yeah,
more.
yeah, I did, because
Wow. I need to keep
you need to
going
take
this
notes.
chat.
Did you do the save the?
I'm trying to, and then people keep adding,
Oh,
which is fantastic. Thank you so much.
I saved it too, so if you don't have it. Okay, so it was 40%, just at 40%. So hopefully that will help you too. I'm not going to go back and look at the aura again, just because it's already 5 minutes after the hour, and we've worked with a lot of stuff. So anyway, thank you so much, Claire, for letting us work with you today, and everybody's input, Karen's, Margaret's, everyone's. I really appreciate it. And again, I hope that your understanding of the functional zones is a little deeper, and that you'll experiment with it and play with it. Remember, you can't make a mistake, because the body is going to take only what it needs. It is intelligent design, so it won't take in frequencies that it does not need. So again, before we sign off, any last further questions, I'm happy to help answer. Otherwise, I'm going to stop sharing though right now. And hello, and thank you everybody. And I'm just trying to make sure I got everybody's comments in here. David, I'm glad that you're happy. I hope I answered your questions sufficiently. Bye, Margaret. Margaret says, and be well, Claire.
Thank you, Margaret. Thank you for everybody's input.
So, and let me just stop the recording here.